on video service. Perfect.
Preparing to live stream the webinar.
As soon as you see the slideshow come up, let me know.
Okie doke.
And you can close it. Video service. Perfect.
Preparing to live stream the webinar. All right, the problem is I can still hear it.
Yeah, you got to close the actual window.
Okay.
Perfect. You are all set then.
All right. Trying to get my screen back to full. Hold on one second, guys. Okay. I'll work on it. Okay, folks, we're going to call to order tonight's meeting, the regular meeting of the Newington Town Council of October 26, 2021. If we would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Guys, I'm still having some technical issues on my end, so give me 1 second, please.
Hit the Windows key on your screen and the tab button. It should show you all your windows, and then just look for the one with the slideshow.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm just hearing it.
Any browser?
No.
It just could be a lag as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can run over, Beth.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't hear it now, but okay. Well, we'll continue and I'll see what happens. All right, so we've completed the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could do a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Anist.
Here.
Counselor Braverman. Counselor Budraco.
Here.
Counselor Camillo.
Here.
Counselor Donahue.
Here.
Counselor Mankey.
Here.
Counselor Minor.
Here.
Counselor Nagel.
Here.
Mayor Del Buono.
Here.
And Counselor Braverman.
I think Sharon's having some technical difficulties because I keep hearing her pop in after the fact.
Okay.
So she is here and she did say here, it was just out of sequence.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, folks, we're going to move on to approval of the agenda. I'll accept a motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Mankey, seconded by Counselor Anist. Any discussion on the agenda this evening? Hearing none, all those in favor, please unmute your mics, guys, for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item is public participation. Any member of the public may participate in the Zoom application by using the raise your hand function in the participants window, or if you're using your phone by dialing *9. Hold on 1 second. I just need to switch my window here. And we have two folks right now with their hands up. The first is Diane Carney. If you could just state your name and address for the record, and our time limit for the beginning of our meeting is 4 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Diane Carney, 25 DaCosta Drive here in Newington. I've spoken before you folks at the last meeting concerning the proposed dog park. I kind of get the feeling that it's a done deal. I have no problem with a dog park in Newington. I still have concerns about the location. I was over there a few weeks ago coincidentally, when folks from the town were there, Ian, Mr. DeMeo from Parks and Rec, and they pointed out to me where the entrance is going to be. This is on the access road into Hartford Healthcare, and it backs up to some of the apartment buildings on Northwood. I just can see people, dog owners, parking on both sides of that street, which isn't very wide, getting out of their cars, getting their dog gear, their leashes, milling about in the middle of the street, you know, and I think it's going to be a real problem. And I really think that you folks have not put enough thought into the ramifications of all these people with their dogs in the street there. So, like I said, it sounds like this is a done deal, but I really think there's going to be a problem there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Carney. The next caller with the hand up is Rose Lyons. Welcome, Ms. Lyons.
Hi, Rose Lyons, 46 Elgin Drive. I had hoped to be the first person to appear at public participation in the new council chambers to wish Councilor Anist well in her retirement. Unfortunately, even though it was advertised as a hybrid agenda or a hybrid meeting on the agenda, I was notified by word of mouth through a Facebook message that the public would not be allowed in the building nor in the room, which is unfortunate because I think after all these years of service to this town, anyone sitting at that table during the past 2 years knows what you've gone through, and it would have been nice to just have one final meeting or one meeting, even if it was the one and only, in the council chambers tonight. But that being said, on to what I had wanted to say in person, and that is that I met Carol through the Newington Probate Court, where I was an assistant clerk, and she was a paralegal for Gordon, Muir, and Foley. I knew from the beginning that she was one determined woman, and whatever she handed into the court, I never questioned because I knew that she would be right. She knew her stuff. And somehow during the course of our correspondence in the court, she convinced me to get involved with the opposition to Jeff Wright's proposed charter revision several years ago. Politics was not my thing. I stayed out of it by saying the judge did not want us to get involved. But somehow she roped Mady, Kenny, and I into it, and the rest is history. I cannot compliment her enough in her ways of getting people to help out to work, because she works just as hard as anybody else. She doesn't expect anything from anybody that she wouldn't do herself. Her tireless energy amazes me. I just don't know how she does it all. But again, I just wanted to thank you, Carol, for your dedication and service to this town. You will be missed, but I know that you'll still be around somewhere doing something, because you won't just sit back and not do something to help the town that you love so much out. Once again, thank you so much for your service, and anyone that does not make it back to the table after this election, thank you for your patience with me. Take care now, and be careful going home. It is kind of nasty out there.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons.
Thank you, Rose.
You're welcome, Carol. Thank you.
The next caller is S. Mazzacoli.
Hi, Sue Mazzacoli, 149 Harris Drive. I'm also calling in to say how much I'm going to miss Counselor Carol Anist on our town council, but I know she'll be my friend for life, so it goes beyond the town council. I do want to, though, recognize all the work and the volunteerism she has done for our town. Not only on the town council, but she also had been a member of the Board of Education. Many committees and commissions. She was assigned as a liaison and attended all of those meetings. And also, what I remember the most was as our Democrat Town Committee chairman. I mean, gosh, you want to talk about organized? That was Carol. I walked into the room and I was so shocked by everybody was sitting at their table. Everybody had a phone. Everybody had an assignment. Everybody knew exactly what they were there for, and that was to elect their fellow Democrats. And I was just astounded by the organization of it, the whole group. And it was all because of due to Carol's leadership. She's a very caring person. If you have a little problem or something that, you know, could be a major issue, you knew that you could call her and she would call you right back. You could text her, you would get a text back. You could direct message her, you get a direct message back. I'm going to truly miss your dedication. But I know that we will continue the friendship, and I wish you the best in your retirement for the town council. I know it's not retirement altogether because I just can't see you walking away from it. And if at some point Governor Lamont is smart enough to nominate you as his lieutenant governor, I will be there. I'll be there to be your campaign manager. So thank you, Carol. Take care.
Thank you, Sue. I appreciate the kind words.
Thank you, Ms. Mazzacoli. Next, we have Michael J. Fox.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Am I being heard or what?
Yes, you are. Welcome, Mr. Fox.
All right, thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, this is your last meeting, and I thought it would be very appropriate, just as the first two speakers said, to kind of say goodbye as far as her role as town council is concerned. We met Carol many, many years ago, more than I'd like to count. And we became fast friends right away. Not long after we met, she ran for Board of Education and was successful. And after the first term, she found herself a single mother. And so she didn't run again. She wanted to pay attention to her son, Nick. And anybody that knows Nick knows how much attention she did pay to him. He's quite a man. I really think the big loser here is the town of Newington, because I don't think I have to tell you people or anybody listening how much she has done for our town as counselor, as vice chair of the TPZ, member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, and right now even a member of the Newington Emergency Medical Service. I can't say too much about how Maria and I love her, and really are very privileged to call her friend. And as I say, the town is losing a great advocate. So not that we won't be seeing each other, but you know, best of luck, Carol. You don't know how proud you make your friends. So you know, that's about it. I just had to say this, and again, best of luck to those of you that will be on the ballot for next Tuesday, and we are looking forward to a new term. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Fox.
Right.
All right, I don't see any other hands up in the attendees window, so we will move on with our agenda now. The next item is there any email correspondence, folks?
We did get a letter, but it was just to the town planner, so I sent it out to the rest of the counselors, so they would make sure they could see it.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
And I think we all got a message, a regular email. Mine came in my packet that was addressed to town planning and zoning.
Right, it was a letter, right? But
We were just copied.
we just copied. Correct.
Okay. So nothing for us to read in, or, well, we don't read in, but to attach. Okay.
Right.
All right. We will continue on to remarks by counselors on public participation. Go ahead, Counselor Anist.
I'm gonna save my remarks to the end of the meeting in response to public participation.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to save my remarks regarding your last meeting till the end as well.
Ditto.
I can't give you a tissue from here, so. All right. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to mention to Ms. Carney that we did hear what she said about the parking issue that she's concerned about. And when we discuss it, I believe the town manager will give us some further information on the ideas around the parking for the proposed dog park. So stay tuned. All right, next is consideration of old business. And the first is the health update regarding COVID-19. Mr. Chapman?
Well, as you all know, last Thursday was disappointing in that we are back into the orange. Our incident rate doubled from what it was the previous week while we were in yellow. I think the only thing we can do is just go week by week and see if how things are shaping up. But looking at it from a larger scope, I think most of the towns are going in the wrong direction at this point. At one time, we had virtually everybody in the gray, several months ago, and that's not the case today. So I think, we'll just play it by ear and go week to week and see hopefully how this shakes out. I mean, the kids' vaccination, from what I understand, has been now approved by at least one of the federal agencies. And if that were to happen, then the kids from, I think it's age 5 to 12 will be getting the opportunity for vaccination shots, which will hopefully minimize what we've been seeing in the public school system. So we'll just have to play it by ear and see how it comes out.
Okay. Remarks or questions by counselors? Counselor Menke?
Yes, Keith. Did Mr. Brown say why we went back up so significantly? We almost doubled again. Was there one episode or a number of episodes, or what was it attributed to?
He didn't specifically tell me why, but I believe it was several new cases that resulted in several additional cases. So it wasn't just one particular pocket. It was scattered throughout the town.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other counselors? I will just share that I have gotten calls from the travel basketball, both boys and girls, the head, they're not coaches, directors, I guess, both expressing concern for not being able to use the Mortensen Community Center. And that would be a much easier message to stand behind if it wasn't for the fact that our schools are allowing the gyms to be used for these types of activities. So there's a bit of disconnect within our own town right now that is causing some angst and frustration amongst people. And that is something that, we doubled our numbers last week. I'm not saying we need to make a change right now, but I'm saying that we need to start looking at how to move forward in some way, shape, or form. And I believe from what they shared with me, they are allowed to play, but they have to wear masks. They have to follow precautions. So I'm just throwing that out there for us to consider, whoever's here at the next council meeting, moving forward for consideration as we look at where the numbers land. Like I said, when numbers are doubling in 1 week, that's certainly not the time for us to make a big change, but
right.
Letting people know, making the council aware that I did field those phone calls and those are concerns that were voiced. Councilor Minor.
Yeah, just quickly to follow up on that, I know 2 weeks ago, Newington High School held their homecoming, and a condition of attending the homecoming was you either had to provide proof of vaccination or you had to test that week within 3 days prior to the event. Not saying that number did contribute to it, but it very well may have, because I know there was quite a few that had the test. So that might be a possible answer as well.
Oh, you're saying they were tested when they wouldn't have normally been tested and they may have been positive?
Yeah, everybody was required that did not have their vaccination, in order to attend the event, they were required to test that Wednesday, which I did. They did a mass testing event at the high school for anybody that wished to attend the homecoming. So that may possibly have contributed for the spike for that week.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, we will continue on. The next item is the TPZ referral, the 8-24 referral regarding the Anna Reynolds project. Sorry, I'm just switching my page here. All right, so it was forwarded to the TPZ and at our October 12th meeting. TPZ reviewed it on October 13th and issued a favorable report. Mr. Chapman, do you have anything else you want to add regarding this?
Not at this time. This opens the opportunity for now the council to take further action.
Okay. So you will see in our packet, we have a resolution to place on file the certificate of action for the 8-24. Councilor Menke, would you like to read that in?
Sure. Resolved, the Newington Town Council hereby moves to place on file the certificate of action for petition 48-21, section 8-24 referral for the Anna Reynolds School renovation project at 85 Reservoir Road, received from the Newington Town Planning and Zoning Commission dated October 14th, 2021, a copy of which is attached to this resolution.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Anist. Any council comment or question? All right, I just am pleased to see that we continue to move this project forward in the steps that need to be taken in the process and in the sequence that they need to happen. So I'm thankful that this council has chosen to do that. And with that being said, I will call, do we need a roll call vote or are we good, guys? We're good. If everybody could just unmute, I'm going to call the vote.
Approve.
No, I'm just waiting for everybody to be on. Okay. I see everybody's unmuted. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Yes.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Next on the agenda
Yeah,
this evening is next on our agenda this evening is the TPZ referral 8-24 for the municipal dog park. You'll see in your packet that the TPZ did discuss this as well, and also came forward with a favorable ruling. Mr. Chapman, do you have anything on this?
I did submit to you a extended version of what I've looked into over the past 2 weeks dealing with dog parks. And I know there's been concerns about safety, health, and dogs being aggressive and people getting bitten and dogs fighting with one another. And all those things can happen and do happen on occasion. I visited probably 15 dog parks over the last 2 weeks and talked to a number of ACOs and a number of visitors of these dog parks, and found that the story is pretty much the same everywhere, where the animal control officers are concerned with, more so, I believe, with dog owners than dogs themselves. I think that dog owners have at times allowed their dogs to get out of control within a fenced-in area, leading to dog fights or someone getting bitten. But overall, there are very few incidents that I found in my travels where the users of the parks, and there were quite a few users in many of the parks that I went to, that they found it to be so objectionable that they would not come back to the dog parks. They felt that the dog parks were really beneficial for the dogs in the neighborhood and in the town, as well as the dog owners, for socialization purposes and so forth. So overall, I did talk with our animal control officer. She vocalized her concerns. Certainly they're listed on the page that you see in front of you. But the bottom line is that Dog parks are very successful in many, many communities. Now, I will also say that some of the dog parks that I did visit were basically, one, I won't say where, but one looked like it was abandoned, that nobody was taking care of it. None of the users of the park and not the town. And there was no grass. It was all dirt and mud. The gates were not functioning, and that dog park, in my opinion, should be closed. However, there were other dog parks that I visited that were clean as a whistle, well laid out, providing good amenities for the visitors. And overall, I felt very good about what I saw out there, and I continue to recommend that Newington location. We can, at this point, it's a gift from Hartford Healthcare. It's on an annual basis, where we're going to pay $1 per year. Park will not have water, will not have utilities of any type. Now, the parking has been discussed briefly off and on. We have gone up our engineering people as well as our park rec people, and we looked at the parking arrangements that currently exist, and there is parking on both sides of the street on John Stewart, and there are 4 or 5 cars that are operated from people living in the apartments that, rather than using their own parking lots, they're using the town street parking lot of parking. So what we plan on doing is we're going to switch and have parking only on the north side. No parking on the south side. So it was raised earlier in this meeting about the width of the road. And I will agree, the width of the road is a concern. And surprisingly, at certain times of the day, there is quite a bit of traffic coming in and out, including utility trucks and service trucks. So we're proposing 2-hour parking on the north side, but it'll cut off when we get near the ambulance building. I've talked to Scott Mangan about the idea of the dog park across the street from the ambulance building, and he's comfortable with everything we have planned. Additional parking would be on Constance Lee Drive for 2 hours as well. We will have to wait and see how many people actually come to the park and how much parking is necessary. We don't anticipate that we're going to have overflow needs for parking, but we'll monitor it. So the parking, I think we've addressed. As I said, there won't be any utilities. The creation of the dog park is going to be done at no cost to the town. The cost for the fencing will be what we'll have to pay for, which is about $29,000 to fence in the entire area and divide it into 2 for large dogs and small dogs. So that has been worked out with a local landscaper, Stonehenge Landscaping. And I think we're not going to see this park open probably this winter or fall. It'll be in next spring by the time everything's in place. But it should work out very well. And again, I've taken photos of many of the signs and all of the other dog parks that I've outlined the rules and regulations, and our signage and rules and regulations will be very firm, and we expect people to obey those rules. And if they don't, they will be removed. We will have our animal control officer doing spot visits at the site and checking on licenses and so forth. So we're going to be ready to go in the spring to open up, and I think it's going to be a real asset to the town going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman. Mr. Mickey, would you read the resolution for the TCZ referral in, please? It's a 2-parter tonight, so we'll do that one first.
Certainly. Resolved, the Newington Town Council hereby moves to place on file the certificate of action for petition 47-21, section 8-24, referral from a municipal dog park along Constance Lee Drive and John H. Stewart Drive, received from the Newington Town Planning and Zoning Commission dated October 14th, 2021, a copy of which is attached to this resolution.
Second.
Thank you. Seconded by Counselor Camillo. Any discussion on the TPZ certificate of action?
Second.
All right, hearing none, if you could unmute for the vote. I still see one counselor muted. There we go. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. There's a second motion in our packet this evening.
Excuse me, Mayor Beth,
Aye.
Oh, yes.
we didn't get a chance to ask any questions of Keith after his,
I'm sorry, I didn't see any hands up, so I
is
apologize.
that all right?
Quickly.
Oh, okay.
We do still have the dog park on. We have a part 2, which is to approve the actual or consider approval of the lease agreement. So we are still able to discuss this item.
Okay. Yeah, I just have a question, Keith, regarding the signage. Well, first of all, I'm glad that the parking was resolved. And I think, that's something that, can be reevaluated, like you said, as time goes by in terms of uses, whatever. And on the signage, I'm just wondering, would there be a number there for people to call in terms of either if they have observed a violation of safety rules and or if there's a complaint about maintenance and whether, the park itself is being kept clean, whatever? Is there a phone number on there?
Yes, there will be a contact number for anyone that finds any objection to whatever may be happening at the park, whether it is cleanliness, whether it is behavior. If they find there has been occasions where dogs have been abandoned in dog parks. So whatever is found in the park that is unusual or not acceptable, there will be a phone number that they can call. Probably depending on what it is, they'll either call the maybe Parks Department for cleanliness or for the animal control officer for a dog issue itself. But that'll all be listed on the signage, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Mankey?
Yeah, Keith, I think we talked about this a while ago, but the fence that's put up would be a temporary fence. We could always take it down and reuse it someplace else if we decide to not continue to have a dog park. Is that correct?
Yes, the fence, the post will be put into the ground as they normally would be. But all of the fencing will be able to be removed and the post will be able to be removed to a new site if the hospital wants the property back. Our intent is not to have to rebuy this material, but reuse it.
Right.
It'll be 5 foot high, black fence for the large dogs. And I think it's going to be 5 foot high for the small dogs as well. There'll be double gates. So I think we've figured out a pretty good plan. And we intend that to build in such a way where it's temporary rather than permanent. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Who would like to read the resolution in for us to consider action on?
I can do it when I'm on a roll.
Thank you, Counselor Mankey.
Resolved, the Newington Town Council hereby authorizes Keith Chapman, Town Manager, to execute a lease agreement with Hartford Healthcare Corporation for the placement of a municipal dog park along Constance Lee Drive and John H. Stewart Drive. A copy of the executed lease agreement shall be attached to this resolution.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Nagel. Any further discussion?
Second.
All right, hearing none, please unmute your mics. We'll do a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone.
Dog park.
All right, folks, the next item is Town Manager Evaluation 2020 to 2021. In our packets this evening, there is a resolution for consideration. I would turn it over to Counselor Nagel for a summary. We have discussed this previously as a council, but I would ask Counselor Nagel to go ahead and give us a summary as to what we're looking at this evening.
Thank you, Mayor Davino. At the last meeting, I did a summary of what the council, or rather the committee has done. I'll briefly go over that again in case someone is listening that wasn't privy to the last meeting very quickly. But first of all, I'd like to thank my fellow counselors who were on the committee, Counselor Anist and Counselor Donahue, for working under COVID circumstances and accomplishing this. Also, I'd also like to thank Mayor Dabuno, who was a non-voting member, for assisting me in terms of getting materials to people and her input as well. We used the form that was used several times before for the evaluation, which included elements and a rating scale of 1 to 5 for each of the elements. As I mentioned at the last meeting, the one counselor chose not to submit the survey, so 8 members of the council, their point scales were recorded and were tabulated and were placed in no particular order, and an average of all of them came out to a 4.57 out of 5, which is an extremely high score. And a commendable one, the highest I've seen in all the years that I have been on the council and part of this committee off and on. Also, there were comments, most of them very favorable in terms of work over the time that he has been here under unusual circumstances, COVID and otherwise, which is very commendable as well. All these materials were sent and discussed under confidentiality, under private Zoom meetings. The committee managed at one point to meet in the council chambers to discuss our findings. Everything was tabulated, whatever, and there was a meeting via Zoom with the entire council that discussed the findings that were there, and also compensation or whatever should be offered to Mr. Chapman. I collected all the materials. They are kept. They will be given to the town attorney once this is all resolved. Subsequently, Mayor Dabuno and I were selected to talk with Mr. Chapman, who was very cooperative and understanding as to why this process took so long, and was very gracious to accept the offer that we gave to him, which is found in the resolution, which wasn't told at the last meeting, but in the resolution it will reflect that he will receive a 2% salary increase from his current salary, obviously retroactive to July 1st, 2021. This is the percentage that was given to town employees, so we thought it was only fair that he, and given the exemplary job that he did, that he should at least get that. He was understanding as to why we could not go higher than that. We also, as is clearly written, more so than I can explain, a shifting of monies from the vehicle stipend into his salary, which is merely a shift of funds that will require more for him. It was by the council generally in their executive meeting realized that indeed we need to look in again as to what our town manager is paid as opposed to other town managers in the area, and that may be addressed by a council, the council that goes into session after the election. Mr. Chapman, very pleased to offer that to you and very gratified that you have accepted, and hopefully this resolution will go ahead. Anybody has any questions, or if the deputy mayor or the mayor rather would like me to read the resolution, I gladly will.
If you'd like to go ahead and read the resolution, we can always have council comment after that if there is any.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Resolved that reflective of the town manager's performance from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, the town council hereby authorizes a salary increase of 2% on the current salary of Keith Chapman, town manager, for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021. Be it further resolved that said increase shall be retroactive to July 1st, 2021. Now be it further resolved that the town council hereby approves an addendum to the current town manager's contract executed on July 22nd, 2020, to include the monthly vehicle stipend outlined within section 14 automotive as part of the employee's salary. The town as employer and Keith Chapman as employee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Anist. All right, now any further discussion?
Second.
I just want to say, Mr. Chapman, that in my years, I have not seen a rating as high as the one that you received. The fact that it was rated on only 8 members' participation, I think is also telling that you did an incredible job to achieve such a high rating. Your record speaks for itself in terms of what you've accomplished in the short time that we've been in office, the 2 years that we've been here, and you've been here less than that. So it really amazes me what you've been able to accomplish as our town manager, and I am very thankful for all of your efforts over the last time that, well, year and a half that you've been here. I can't thank you enough, and I think that 2% is it doesn't adequately reflect what you have done for this town in the time in your tenure here. And I'm hopeful that when the next council is seated at the table, that they will take a look at, what compensation is in other towns. We had talked about this, that we had hired you at an interim rate, and you've stayed there. So we need to at least look at that moving forward in some capacity. So I just wanted to let you know how much I value you as our town manager, and I recognize your efforts and all of the work that you've done. And I appreciate everything that you've done for this town so far. Anyone else? All right, then we will do, if everybody can unmute. Okay, everyone is unmuted. So all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion, thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, folks. The next item is under new business, and it is the Newington Association of School Administrators Agreement. Let me just look at our attendees, because I'm not sure who's with us this evening. Let me scroll down.
Mr. Farisi is with us for this evening.
Okay, great. Mr. Chapman, did you want to start us off, or do you want me to jump straight to Mr. Farisi?
I would go right to Steve. He'll take the ball from here.
Great, welcome, Steve. How are you today?
Very well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Can you all hear me okay?
We sure can.
Excellent. Thank you. I just wanted to share that the Board of Education was served notice to negotiate with the Newington Association of School Administrators in August. And so we engaged in that process to negotiate a contract very similar to the one that they have been working under that will last through this year, through July. And we had an opportunity to engage in that process to be able to present to the town council and the town manager current contract that we would recommend move forward. We used all of the surrounding area comps to be able to determine what would be appropriate salaries that were responsible, yet reflective of the work that both they currently do and we need them to do. One area of significant change that you'll find within the proposed contract would be the area where we have current curriculum coordinators and an athletic director who are all 10-month employees. They would move to 12-month employees. So their salary was adjusted accordingly. Currently, in the previous contract, while they were under a 10-month employment, we were paying them significantly more per diem to accomplish the work that we needed them to do. outside of their 10 months. So that was a highly cost prohibitive arrangement that we had. Putting them into the 12-month category in the long run will be a cost savings. It is an initial investment upfront in the contract. So that's where you see an average of a 4-year contract at 2.62% increase. A majority of that is in those areas where 10-month employees went up to 12-month. The other employees within the NASA unit are at a 2% or less increase annually. It is just that subgroup that we improved to get them to be 12-month employees. Again, we were paying those salaries otherwise just differently because it was a per diem rate, not a contracted rate. So we were able to merge all that, and we feel that that was a very important merger for long-term savings as we move forward into future contracts. Similarly, their health care premium continued to improve 1% each year in accordance with the 4-year life of the contract. And not too much else changed other than in Appendix C, which is an addition. We formalized any extra work that they would be doing to address things such as homebound tutoring and items that if they were not picked up by the Newington teachers contract, then our administrators generally pick up that work because students do need to be managed and taught appropriately in certain situations. Those would be most of the highlights of the new contract that we are forwarding to you. I would just pause for a moment and see if there are any questions.
Are there any questions, counselors? Counselor Braverman?
Steve, how many people does this affect?
28 people.
Okay. Thank
Counselor
you.
Donahue?
Yeah, when you, Steve, when you say the 10-month employees are moved to 12-month employees, that just means their pay is spread out over 12 months instead of 10?
Correct. But because of the 2 additional months in how we were paying them per diem, we were able to negotiate a rate that would be higher than the regular 10-month rate that they currently had. So we did have to account for the extra work that they would be doing, but not at a per diem rate. So we were able to build that into their salary. Of course, we used the local area comps to determine what would be most appropriate. And I can tell you for all of our positions, we're either in the middle band or the lower third of comparisons for all positions in that contract, except for our Director of Student Services. Our Director of Student Services is above the midline in the comprehensives for that.
All right, thank you.
I would also like to share that we were able to negotiate this contract in good faith, which was a significant cost savings for legal fees. So we were able to do this without attorneys, which was a big savings to the board in town.
Counselor Bedrejko?
Yeah, and again, this is simply because I don't, quite, my ignorance is showing in regarding this particular contract, but going back to what Counselor Donahue was saying about the move from per diem to, I guess, salary, in all the organizations I've worked in, including the work that I do now, per diem kind of just means you come in when you're needed, but it's not necessarily, it's not like every day or every week or every month necessary. It's just kind of a phone call and, hey, we need you. So this additional changing it from per diem to salaried, does this mean that they're basically working every day now for 12 months? I mean, well, 5 days a week for 12 months?
That is accurate outside of any vacation time that they might have in accordance with the contract or holidays that we might get off, such as Christmas Day or Thanksgiving Day. So yes, that is accurate. And to make that determination, we did take an 8-year time frame, so the last 8 years, to determine how much we've been paying per diem and if it's been costing us more than if we were to make them 12-month employees. And when we did the cost analysis, it made more sense to make them 12-month employees because over the last 8 years, We've needed them during winter vacations, during April vacation, and during summertime. So it wasn't in our best interest to continue to pay them per diem. It was costing us more.
Great. No, it sounds like a good plan. Thank you.
Any other council comment or question? Just one quick one, Steve. I noticed the deadline or the date of the contract, it was negotiated a whole year ahead. Was there a reason for that? I was surprised to see that. I didn't know the negotiations were actually happening.
So the administrative negotiations work just like the teacher negotiations. They always happen for us during the summer into the early fall. I'm not sure. I think it's state statute as to the time frame. And once the state tells you it's time to begin, you have only a certain period of time in which you can conduct the negotiations, and it's all driven by those statutes. So we just conform to those and adhere to those. So we were just given the notice and we complied with the notice. I'm not certain exactly why they do them so early opposed to maybe a little later in the school year. It does, the contract does expire in June 30th of this coming year, 2022. And then this new contract would go into play July 1, 2022.
Okay.
I wonder if they give a little buffer time just in case we're unable to reach a resolution in a timely way and it has to keep going. But I don't know the rationale behind that. I apologize.
Yeah, but it is driven by state statute probably, so that's good.
It
It's
is absolutely.
good to conform to those, that's for sure.
That is true.
Any other council comment or question? All right, then we will move this and discuss it further at our next meeting.
Thank you all very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Farisi. Take care.
You too.
Thanks. All right, folks, we'll move on. Next, let's see, where am I here? Next is resignations and appointments. Do we have any? Counselor Annis or Counselor Mankey?
I have none.
None. Thank you. Moving on to refunds. We have before us an approval of October 26, 2021 refunds. Deputy Mayor Bedrejko, if you would.
Resolved that property tax refunds in the amount of $11,845.88 are hereby approved in the individual amounts and for those named on the request for refund of an overpayment of taxes certified by the revenue collector, a list of which is attached to this resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Mankey.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, if you could all unmute. Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed. Ms. Counselor Braverman, you're on quite a lag. You come in pretty late on everything. I know it's just your internet, but sorry if I look like I'm responding differently.
Okay.
I appreciate it. I did hear
That's
that.
okay.
All right, folks, so that passes unanimously. The next item is the minutes of previous meetings. We have before us the regular meeting minutes of October 12th, 2021. I'll accept a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Mankey. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Camillo. Any discussion?
Second.
Hearing no discussion. We all unmute. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item is written and oral communications from the town manager. Mr. Chapman, do you have anything for us this evening?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right. Next is council liaison and committee reports. Counselor Nagel?
The other night attended via Zoom a library board meeting. Their October 3rd race event was extremely successful considering the pandemic conditions and the lag time from when they originally would have it. They do plan definitely, being very optimistic, having their next race on May 15th of next year. The head librarian told us about the computer furniture and computers and how that arrangement was going to be once people are allowed to be in and use those facilities. Friends of the library at that meeting said that November 7th is the next donation book drop day. So not only do they have days where you can purchase books in one manner or another, but they're also a day where you can volunteer to give books that you don't want to the library so they can use it for their next event. If I may, the CROB meeting for this month is tomorrow. So in advance, I can tell you I'll be attending that. I will share with Mr. Chapman within the week any information that may come forth that is in the written minute.
I don't hear Dave. Do you all hear him still?
No.
Okay.
Just be froze up.
No.
It's that he would already get. I've already got projects. They all deal with traffic lights. Note on Cedar Street and by someone from the DOT that they are state-of-the-art digital ones with sensors. And they've suggested that I suggest to the council and the town manager that at some time in the future with the next council, they may want to have invite someone in for a brief discussion concerning them so that our residents know what they are about and how they hopefully will improve traffic flow through at least two main areas of town. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilor Nagel. Deputy Mayor Bedrejko.
Yes, I can't remember whether I reported on this last time or not, but for the Culver Street Conservation and Inland Wetlands has closed the public hearing on that, but they did not take a vote on their decision, and that will be happening at their next meeting in November. But the TPZ public hearing on Culver Street remains open from 2 weeks ago, and it will be held tomorrow on October 27th at 7. And I encourage everybody who has an interest in this to either for or against or just has questions to certainly listen in and make your opinions known. So that's basically it for those two committees. I also just want to, it's not necessarily a committee report, but I did attend the Church of Christ Congregational, a kind of an informal kickoff event for their 300th anniversary. They had a wonderful historical tour of the cemetery behind the church, including costumed characters. And the individual who led the tour, there were fascinating stories about some of the more notable families in Newington. You know, we right on the street. I mean, the streets, named after them, and it's nice to know kind of like the history of why. It's the Willards, the Churchills, the Stoddards, the Kirkhams, the Ellsworths. I mean, they're all there. And even there were some. There's a history tied into there from the Underground Railroad. There's soldiers buried there from the American Civil War, from the American Revolution, from the War of 1812. It's incredible the treasure that we have there. But quite frankly, what was very distressing is the condition of many of the graves. This is history, guys. And the cemetery came into existence in 1726, and I believe that's when the first two individuals were buried there. But if attention isn't paid, it's certainly not going to be, some of those stones will not be around for the next 100 years for sure. So hopefully at some point we can do something about looking at maintaining a precious part of our history. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Bedrejko. Any other council comment? Or I'm sorry, we're still on liaison reports. Okay, we will move on to public participation. Any member of the public may join us by raising their hand if they're in the Zoom app in the attendees window. And if you are on your phone, by dialing *9 to raise your hand and be recognized. The time limit for public participation at the end of our meetings is 3 minutes. Counselor Donahue, did I miss you?
No, I was trying to get off of mute. I'm hitting the wrong button.
All right, just checking. I do not see any attendees. Whoop, I spoke too soon. Ms. Mazzacoli, go right ahead. Whoop, hold on. Are you there, Sue?
I'm unmuted. It took like 3 steps, but okay. Sue Mazzacoli, 149 Harris Drive. I remember when I was on the Board of Education and it was the end of my term, that they had a ceremony congratulating all of us, and they gave us a gift. And I'm just wondering, I believe that happened with the town council over the years too. I haven't been to one in a long time, so I may be wrong on if you're continuing that ceremony, but if you are to have that ceremony, I'm hoping, beyond hope, that it will be at our town hall, inside. I know you have to worry about COVID. I know that. But there are ways of spreading people out so that they're not next to each other. If they can have basketball games with masks on, if they can have the preschool in the building that Parks and Rec sponsors, little children who are not vaccinated and are very vulnerable, then why can we not have a ceremony recognizing our council members? So I'm hoping that if that tradition continues, that it will be inside the town hall. And by the way, if you go on the library right now, it says that people are allowed inside to browse. Now, I don't know what browsing would mean in a town hall, but I think if you could do it at the library, you should be able to do it at the town hall too. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mazzacoli. Hold on one second, folks. Let me just double check. All right, there are no other hands up. We will continue on to remarks by counselors. All right, I'm going to leave. Oh, there's a bunch of hands just popped up. I'll wait then. Counselor Menke.
Yeah, I just would now want to let this opportunity go by to thank Carol for her years on the council. I was privileged to serve with her as minority leader, majority leader. We kind of were on leadership together. We swapped positions. I just want to, I appreciate her knowledge, her experience, but also her leadership. I've always found that even though we may have disagreed on an item, we always were able to do it respectfully and come to some kind of a compromise. And I think that's probably rare in these days where people can compromise on what's best for the town and not what's best for their own individual positions. And I've always found that she was able to put what's best for the town above what her position was. And I found her very easy to work with. And I'm going to miss her experience on the council. I think that the years of experience and the knowledge she has, I'm going to certainly miss. I'm sure she will continue serving our town in different ways, probably less stressful ways. But I look forward to working with her in the future.
Thank you, Councilor Menke. Deputy Mayor Bedrejko.
Yeah, I have to, I can't let Carol walk out the door without saying, it's been a ride. I first met Carol when she was on TPZ, and I really admired her role on TPZ, and I got to, respect her workload, her knowledge, whatever. And when I heard that she was coming off TPZ, I was actually devastated because I thought, oh my God, she really she worked for the good of the town as well. I mean, as well as, the zoning issues and whatever, but she also had the interests of Newington in her heart. And I was like devastated. But then when I heard that she was running for town council, it was like, it was TPC's loss, but the town council's gain. And I really enjoyed working with her on the council. And even though we're, on opposite parties, I always felt, Carol, that you were willing to listen to the opposition. You acknowledged some of our good ideas, but you also let us know when maybe our ideas you didn't feel were that good. But you were very honest and very respectful. And I really felt that, I feel that you know how to work in a bipartisan manner. And I'm not sure, and I think that's an art that is unfortunately kind of slipping away a little bit. And you should be proud of what you've done and your service to the town. And you're really going to be missed. And I'm going to miss you, like, as a, not only your expertise, but as a person. So thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councilor Camillo?
Carol, you're definitely going to be missed. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you giving me a little push. I was on PPZ with you for years. I learned a lot from you. And I hope you consider going back and being the chairman of the Democrats. Straighten them out. I thank you very much for all your help and all the good things you've done in town. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Councilor Braverman?
Carol, in case you're bored on Tuesday nights, we'll come pick you up and take you for dinner. Make sure you still can be part of the town council. All right, we'll miss you. You have expertise most of us don't have. So thanks for all your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Councilor Nagel?
Carol, I'd also like to echo my thanks for all that you've done for in the town for all the years you've been in elective office and otherwise, particularly these last 2 years. I think not only you, but all of us have cooperated, even though we've had differences of opinion, and this council has been successful because of the cooperation of people on both sides of the aisle, particularly you, Carol. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Councilor Minor?
Thank you. I've had the privilege of serving with Carol now for 5 going on 6 years of working with her, and thank her for all of her guidance and cooperation on all the issues that we've come across over the last several years. I'm sad to see her go, but I am happy that she's going to hopefully begin to enjoy retirement a little bit. And I wish her the best of luck in her next chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Councilor Donahue?
Carol, the last 2 years have been entertaining. If you and I working together, and I don't want to brag, but I think I've known Carol the longest. We went to school together. I won't say how many years ago it was, but and congratulate. It takes some time off. Don't get right back into it. I know it's going to be tough. I know you're going to be wondering what am I going to do on Tuesday night, but good luck, and please stay in touch.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Carol, I just wanted to say that in this world, strong women sometimes do not get along. And when I heard you were running for council, I was a little nervous because I had heard of your reputation and the strong person that you were. And if you told me back then that you and I would have gone along as well as we have, I wouldn't have believed it. And I truly appreciate your hard work, not only here on the council, but for many years prior to you being here. You've done so much for our community that people just don't even know about. And I was in awe at the beginning of this term at your level of knowledge and your expertise, the things that you bring to the table that people don't know behind the scenes, things that you're aware of that some of us wouldn't even have thought of that you bring forward. I have always respected your knowledge and respected you and the way you present yourself. Your leadership skills are tremendous. And I think that every single one of us at the table has learned just a little bit from you, and I am grateful for that. I wish you the very best in whatever you choose to take on next, because I know you won't stay idle long. I know you have some things working, but I do hope also that you take some time to enjoy and smell the roses. And whoever said that she's going to be looking for something to do on Tuesday night, are you kidding me? This woman does stuff every single night. She's not just at the table on Tuesday. She's working it every night. So I know you're going to be looking for some things to fill your time, but hopefully you and your retired husband over there will find some things to do together and enjoy life a little bit. But I wish you all the best. And I have really enjoyed working with you. And, you know, people talk about differences of opinion, but I would say 99% of the time, we were right on the same page, and I appreciate that. And if we weren't, as you mentioned, Tim, it was always respectful. We always just, okay, we agree to disagree, and we moved on, and very much appreciated. What this council has accomplished over the past 2 years could not have been done without all of us working together. And I am grateful for all of us at this table. And that being said, I wish Carol the very best, but there are no guarantees for any of us. The rest of us are running for re-election, but come Tuesday, you never know. So I want to wish every single one of you the very best, no matter what the outcome is on Tuesday, with whatever the future holds for all of us. If we're at the council table together, fantastic. And if we're not, I know you will all do your very best for this town, no matter what capacity you're serving, either at the table or behind the scenes. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you all. Carol, your turn.
Okay, thank you. It's very difficult. It's been very bittersweet sitting here this evening. I'm already getting choked up like I did at my husband's retirement party. But it's been quite a ride this last 6 years. I mean, we went through Dieselgate, a town hall lawsuit, but we've all survived everything we've gone through. And it's just been such a joy working with all of you. Some of you I've been with for 6 years, others 4, others 2. And I can't go out without saying that, you know, Jim Marachini and Nick Arace and Diana Sarah, you know, they were part of our 6 years with me. And I truly appreciate everything that you guys have done. I've learned a lot from you. And I will say, you know, people used to say our meetings were boring because we always agreed on everything and we really didn't have a lot of fight amongst us, which I think in a way is good for a town because it shows that we can all work together. And I just want to wish everybody really good luck next Tuesday, and whoever's sitting around this table, I hope they can continue moving Newington forward and making Newington stronger, because it's so important to keep building our community. And I want to tell you, I am already involved in something already. I'm on the Newington Emergency Medical Service, and I'm very active in the board of directors. So that'll keep me quite busy. So, you know, I will miss you guys. And once you open up, I will probably be sitting in that back row, making sure that you guys are staying on task. So thank you. I really enjoyed it. And it's going to be difficult, but, you know, it's time to move on. I've picked my own term limit. So thank you for all the kind words. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Our pleasure, Carol. 2 more quick thoughts. Sue Mazzacoli, we do still honor counselors, but we typically wait till after election so that we can honor any and all that haven't returned. So that will happen later, probably at the beginning of next year, to be honest. So just to comment on that. I know, James, you wanted to have an opportunity to let counselors know what they need to do.
Yes, now that we're coming up on election season, and I know we are planning a special meeting, IT has asked if everybody is able to drop their laptops off tomorrow so they can get them updated and ready for the next council. We should be able to still get them back to you for the 4th for the special meeting if we are going forward with that, Mayor. Yes, no?
How do I get one?
I know it was, I was waiting for an update from the town manager to see if we needed it, but if that is the case, then yes, we will move forward with it.
Okay, just wanted to check on that. And also for you, Carol, we'll also need the fob back for the building.
Yeah.
Other
So how do I
than
get onto the meeting on the 4th?
Well, no, I mean after the meeting.
Oh, no, but for our laptops, you said tomorrow?
Yeah, if you guys can bring those in, that way we can get them over to IT. They've got a couple of days then to work on them, get them updated and ready for the next council, and then we can get them back to you so that you guys can use them for the 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, but how do I get one for the 4th?
You just come in and pick yours back up for the moment.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. You'll still be a counselor at that time.
True.
That's right. Just for everybody's understanding, if we have a meeting on the 4th, even though it's after November 2nd election day, this council right here would still be the sitting council. until the swearing in on the
9th.
So no matter what happens on the 2nd, if we have a special meeting on the 4th, which we most likely will be doing to address some business, then we all would be expected to attend regardless. Okay.
And that's all I've got.
Okay.
Other than good luck to everybody on Tuesday.
Thank you, James. Thank you. Your camera's off and I forget you're there.
That's why I do it.
Thank you for all of your work behind the scenes. You keep us all in line, and people may or may not realize that, sometimes in public, sometimes not.
Everyone, yes.
But we appreciate all you do to keep us organized, get everything ready for us, make sure agendas are posted, make sure the materials are ready for us. You are our go-to guy for every Roberts rule there is, and for every procedural piece. And I greatly have greatly appreciated working with you. I certainly hope to continue, but if not, I know you will continue to do the best work that you already do for Newington, and I appreciate you as well. And I just want to say to the residents of Newington that it has been my absolute honor and pleasure, I'm going to get choked up, to be your mayor for 2 years. Of course, I hope that I continue, but I am realistic. I know what election days can bring. And so I want to make sure that I share those thoughts with you now, that I have been honored and privileged, and I appreciate the faith you put in me 2 years ago. And I hope that you are pleased with what we did over the past 2 years. I know I am, and I'm very pleased with this council as a whole. So thank you, everyone. Councilor Mankey, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I would think we should yield the floor to Councilor NS for the adjournment.
I love that idea. One more quick thank you, Susan, who's off camera all the time. Thank you, Susan, for the work you do for us as well.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
All right. Councilor Ennis, take it away.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Mankey. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Any opposed? We stand adjourned at 8:17. One of our quickest meetings ever, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Carol. Stay well, everyone.
Mayor, you will need to do the stopping of the live stream too.